From today, Britain will value the hard hat every bit as much as the graduation cap. These are the words of the new British Prime Minister, that is Andy Burnham, that he said on the 28th of July 2026, that the reforms that he wishes to introduce, that the government is going to introduce to the education sector. Now, and this is aimed especially at the 14-year-olds. So what this model is looking at is to transform the GCSEs, or to transform the education at GCSE, so that it is not only academic, but it is academic plus vocational, so that a student cannot only do, maybe, let's say, sciences, maths, English, and so on, but now they will have actually they will now have to combine these with a vocational subject or a technical subject. So this is what he is aiming to achieve starting the year 2028. So in the start of the academic year 2028, these are the reforms that will come into education at GCSE, where they are going to have the vocational subjects taken by the students at GCSE. Now, if you want, you can maybe look at this from the angle of what has recently been introduced at post-16 education, where you have A levels, those are doing A levels, also taking the V levels. So this is a recent introduction which is going to take effect from next year, that is 2027. So this is the same model that will now go down a bit to the GCSEs, so that is at year 10, or the 14-year-olds. So this will transform that sector of education, so that more, or the target here is that more students or more young people get into employment, because the emphasis of these technical subjects is that it will help the learners get to know what exactly is needed in any employment setting, especially using those technical subjects, because there will be emphasis on those technical subjects and then the work experience. And uh, what this model is aiming to do is to look at the local area, and then what are the shortages, what are the needs, and then the designers of the curriculum for that particular area are going to look at what are the current needs and tailor their education and these technical subjects in line with the demands of that particular area. So that is what the structure is about. So the technical, the shortages, the current shortages are especially in manufacturing, there's in engineering, there's construction, we've got areas like clean energy, then they've got digital and AI, they've got health and the care sector. So those are the areas where there is a huge shortage of qualified people. So they want to address that gap, that is, and as well as looking at the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate, which currently is above 1 million of young people who are not in employment. So to address that problem is to get as many as possible, and therefore what the government wants to do is to go as much down as possible to get as many young people into work, and starting by targeting the 14-year-olds or the GCSEs. Right. So that is what is being currently discussed, and what is going to take effect from 2028. Now, this will of course be a game changer, in that most people, or most young people, are going to get into employment. Now, if you look at the emphasis has always been on the academic route, where people will want to get to university and get that graduation cap. That's what has been the main focus. But now he's saying, or what Andy Burnham is saying, is that's not the emphasis. The emphasis must be that the hard hat, or look at the construction sector, look at the manufacturing sector. That hard hat has the same effect as the graduation cap. So these students who end up pursuing vocational subjects must not see themselves as inferior to those who are going to the universities to get that university degree. But now he wants to look at making these to be at par, so that they are not second-class citizens. Anyone who does the vocational subjects or the technical subjects doesn't look at themselves as the second-class citizens. They are all at par. So that's the target, to get as many people into employment as possible. Now, remember that if you take the academic route and the university degree, mostly students, when they graduate, they have very huge sums of money that they owe. Talk about 40, at least 40,000, 50,000. Some go as much as high as 60,000 that they owe after their their graduation. So what's the advantage? The advantage is, mostly you don't owe anything, especially if you pursue the vocational side than pursuing the academic side, and therefore you get to earn. You have nothing that you are owing, right? So this is a game changer, and therefore is meant to get as many people into employment as possible, because there is a shortage. And the estimates are that by 2035 there will be about 1.5 million of these jobs in the construction, in engineering, uh, manufacturing, AI, and digital, where there will be, that is 1.5 million people. That's the need, that's the projected need of workers in those areas, and this is growing every year. So to address that, if as many people as possible, that is young people, can get into those vocational areas, it will ensure that they get to qualify for those jobs and get into employment earlier than they currently are doing. So as I said, this model is just almost the same as what is being planned for the 2027 post-16 education, where A levels are going to be able to mix the academic um, subjects with the V levels, which are the vocational subjects. But now, so this one this same model also is, if you look at it, is what is going to be done by the GCSEs, where they will have that mix of academic subjects and vocational subjects. So that's the advantage. So whatever you may decide to do, is actually, you will need to weigh in what route do you want to pursue. Do you want the academic and emphasize on the graduation cap, or you want the vocational and emphasize uh, on the hard hat? But now the emphasis is these two are not far apart. These two are similar. So you cannot say the graduation cap is better than the hard hat. They are seemingly, or he wants to make this to be at par, so that everyone feels like what they are doing is satisfactory unto them.